You just don't make it like right on start time. All right. Welcome, everybody. It's good to see you all. My name is Kelly, and thank you for joining me, for 90 minutes of Journey into Power. We've got, I can never quite see from all the way up at the front of the room, but it looks like we have Wifa and Judy joining us today from home. Welcome. And hopefully you two have some nice warm like layers. I see, Judy, you've got like your coat on. Wifa, you might want to put like a well, blanket probably wouldn't work, but something long sleeve just as you're warming up. It's cold. It's cold today. So we get the benefit of a nice warm room. Make sure your room is warm too. So what are we up to today? 90 minutes of Journey into Power. If you've taken my class before, and a lot of you here are pretty regular now, you know that I love the 90-minute time slot because it gives us a chance not necessarily to do more, but to go deeper than what you can typically do within a 60-minute class. And studio-wide right now, we have the 40-day program going on. So 40 days to a personal revolution. There's about 20 to 30 community members that are partaking in this round. And what they're committed to is creating new habits around practice, meditation, journaling, and nutrition. And whether you're part of it or not, you get to benefit from it because what we do each week is focus on a theme in our practice and then also 2 laws. So you're probably going to hear the teachers talking a bit about the theme of the week for 40 days and then the 2 laws. And that adds what makes possible for anyone, whether you're in the program or not, is just this new lens through which to look at your practice and how you're showing up to your practice. So what's available is maybe not deeper so much as in what we're doing, but maybe even just in the quality that you're bringing to your practice as you go through the poses. So with that said, this week, the theme is presence. And that's really about like, what does that mean to you? You might have read a definition or something of what it means, but what is it in your experience of it? And the 2 laws are seek the truth and be willing to come apart. So I'll say more about that as we get flowing. Before we start, I'll be offering modifications as we go. Of course, listen to your body. If there's any modification you need that suits your body or your energy level today, take it. Be willing to do that. And then let's go ahead and get started. Child's pose. We'll start there. And this pose, just so as you know, if you at any point need a rest, like you're overwhelmed, you just need to catch your breath or something, this is your pose, child's pose. It's like your home base at any time. Feel free to take it. And so for your first child's pose, take a moment and get settled. Pick an arm position that feels right, a knee width that feels right. I can see like Erin in the back rolling her head side to side. So create the shape and add any movement that you need that makes this space feel like something that you can settle into fully. Good. And then together, take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Again, breathe in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And just one more time like that. A breath in with your nose and let a sigh come out through your mouth. Good. With the next inhale, come up to all fours. Tuck your toes into the mat, downward facing dog. Don't settle just yet. So downward facing dog. From your down dog, come out to high plank. And this will just be for a breath or 2. So shoulders over your wrists, heels over the big toes of your feet. Good, like cat, get longer. So you have that full plank position. It's going to set your foundation up. Now keep your hands and feet here, downward facing dog. Now feel this space out. So maybe your feet need to go back a little bit further. Mine usually do, just for my spine to lengthen all the way out. Maybe your feet need to come a little bit closer towards your hands. So you'll create the foundation that feels right in your body. Then spread your fingers out wide. Lift your 10 toes, spread your toes out wide. So create big bases through your hands and your feet. and set your eyes to the mat between your feet. Now create smooth, even quality to your breathing. And then really, like, as you breathe, tap into what is this quality of presence. So for me, it's, I know I'm present when I can sense, I can see what I see, I can hear the sounds that are around me, I can smell the smells that are around me, and I can feel what there is to feel. Some of those things we tend to just kind of block out, tune out. And so as you set your eyes, tune in. And maybe you're feeling your shoulders start to really warm up. Can you just be present to the sensation of your shoulders as they warm up? And maybe you're feeling like a deep stretch in the back of your legs. Can you be present to the deep stretch in the back of your legs as an opportunity that maybe the truth is it's too much? And that willingness to come apart means that you bend your knees a little bit more and make it palatable. Yeah, now 2 more breaths. Take 1 more breath in. Fully breathe out, look forward, and then step your feet up to the top of your mat. So with your feet hip-width distance apart, inhale, lift halfway up, breathe in, and then exhale, ragdoll pose. Open your eyes, see what you see. So nothing that you have to look at. Whatever your eyes land on, look at it, see it. And then your 2 feet, feel them. Press the big toe down of each foot down. Put some weight there. Press the center of each heel down. And usually as I look here, what the truth is that there's not a lot of weight in my heels. And so I have to bend my knees more to actually get my heels, like the real result of my heels pressing into the floor. So feel big toes, heels, are they actually pressing down? And then from the pressing down of your feet into the floor, watch for the pit of your belly to bound up. So not pulling it up, not like bracing your abdominal muscles, not like when you're going to get your picture taken and you like hold your belly in or something. You press your feet down until your belly naturally starts to go up. It's like you're trying to stand up, but you don't quite going that way yet. Right there. Now breathe right into that spot. So you're feeling the connection, your feet down into the floor, and that connection pulling you up into your core. Now breathe right there for 2 more breaths. Relax your head down. 1 more breath in. Blow all the air out. Now press your feet more to come rolling all the way up to stand. And feel how the pressing down through your feet creates the result. At the top, stretch your arms up. Keep pushing your feet down to reach up as high as you can. And then exhale your hands to heart center. Set your eyes to 1 point. Set an intention for your practice. And it could be this quality of presence. And we'll begin with 3 ohms. Take a breath in. Ah. Inhale, reach up, extended mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold. You'll bend your knees, drop your belly onto the top of your thighs. Inhale, lift halfway up. And exhale, plant your palms, step back to high plank. Just that high plank position. Breathe right here. Gaze at the top lip of your mat. So it's going to set your neck up to be nice and long. And then press down through your feet, the big toe mounts. Press down through your hands. And watch for the rebound of your belly lifting up towards your spine. Good, Dave. Now 2 more breaths right there. Keep that connection from floor up in the core. On your last breath in, look forward so much that your chest swings forward. Then bend your elbows, low push up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Take your chest forward and up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Press it all the way back. Take a breath in and blow it out. Breath in and out. Last breath in. Blow all the air out. Look at your hands, step up to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway up. And exhale, fold. Press down through your feet, reach up. Extended mountain pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, step back, high to low, push up. Chest forward, look forward. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Last breath in. Blow all the air out. Step your feet up to your hands. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Extended mountain pose. Reach up, lift the pit of your belly up. Forward fold. Halfway lifts. Low push up. Good. Step back or jump back. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths. What is there newly to see, hear, smell, or feel in this one moment, this one last breath? Take a breath in. Blow all the air out. Step or float, feet to your hands. Halfway lifts. Fold. Extended mountain pose. Forward fold. Halfway lifts. Low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Set your eyes. Breathe in and breathe out. 2 more breaths. And so not having to move your eyes around to perceive. Reach out with your other senses. Last breath in. Blow all the air out. Feet to your hands. Half lifts. Fold. Extended mountain pose. Forward fold. Halfway lift up. Get long from tail to crown. Low push up. Upward facing dog. Toenails down, chest up. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Breath in. All the air out. Move feet to your hands. Half. Fold. Extended mountain pose. Stretch up as high as you can and then maybe stretch back. Forward fold. Halfway lift up. Low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths, 1 more Sane. And just catch yourself. If you're in that thinking of like, I'm going to do this again, reframe that as this next Sane, there's something you haven't gotten present to yet. There's more to discover. Shift your gaze to what there is left to discover in this last Sane. Breath in. Blow all the air out. Jump, feet to your hands. Halfway lift up. Fold. Extended mountain pose. Get all the height you can and then go back. Forward fold. Halfway lift up. Low push up. Upward facing dog. Arm bones back, chest through. Downward facing dog. Take a big breath in. Yeah, and maybe a sigh comes out. 2 more breaths. Last breath in. Blow the air out, look forward. Step or float. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair pose. Sit your hips back, reach your arms up. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Low push up. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot to your right thumb, warrior 1. So back heel down, arms up high, low push up. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot, warrior 1. Step, turn your back heel in and down into the floor, low push up. Upward facing, downward facing dog. Good time for a sigh. Yeah. 2 more breaths. Stay dialed in, stay plugged in. 1 more breath in. Blow all the air out. Move your feet to your hands. Halfway lifts. Fold. Chair pose, sit your hips way back, forward fold. Halfway lift up, low push up. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward. Keep your eyes open and see a point, low push up. Upward facing dog, keep your eyes open. Downward facing dog, left side warrior one. Just stay present to this room, this space, low push up. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Eyes open, take a big breath and clear it. 2 more breaths. Now really commit. Keep your eyes open as you flow. Last breath in, blow all the air out, jump, feet to your hands. Halfway lift up, fold. Chair pose, see 1 point and forward fold. Halfway lift, look at 1 point, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, warrior one. Look at 1 point, either straight ahead or straight up, low push up. Upward facing dog, down dog. Now left side warrior one. Drishti to a single point, low push up. Upward facing dog, big breath in, downward facing dog. 3 breaths, 2 more to go. Yeah, so sometimes I think we close our eyes. I know I do it because there's just so much to be present to that it can feel like too much. And so comes this tool called Drishti, where with all the things you could look at, you look at one thing, pick one, and stick to it. Take a big breath in, blow all the air out, look forward, jump, feet to your hands, halfway lift, see a point, and fold, see 1 point. Chair pose, just see one thing, and fold, just that one thing. Halfway lift up, low push up. 1 drishti point, upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right side warrior one. So in each pose it might change, but just one thing, low push up. Up dog, down dog, left side warrior one. And where you look is where your body's going to go. Low push up. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Good. 3 breaths, 1 more. Some of you are still closing your eyes. So in this last one, commit. Your eyes are open and you're going to see what you see. Here's your last breath in. Blow all the air out. Jump, feet to your hands. Halfway lift, see a point. Fold. Chair pose, reach up, look at 1 point. Fold. Halfway lift up. Low push up, one thing. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Right side warrior one. Whatever you see is perfect. There's nothing you have to see. Low push up. Up dog. Down dog. Left side. Feel how simple movement becomes when you focus. Low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Good. Bring your feet together at the back of your mat. Lift your right leg up. Bend your knee. Open your hip. Flip dog. Look at one thing. Good. So don't even look at your feet. Don't look at your hand maybe. So sometimes we'll look at our own body parts to see what they're doing. You know what your body's doing. Your body does stuff without you looking at it all day. So trust. Press your 2 feet down. Press your bottom hand down. Look at something out here. Take 2 more breaths. 1 more breath in and flip back. High plank, big toes touch. Side plank, do the same thing. So pick one thing to look at. See it. And 5 breaths right here. And yeah, like if your leg starts going up, cool. If you need to drop your bottom knee down to add some more stability or foundation, do that. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath in. 2 hands to the floor, low push up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Big toes together. Take your left leg up and back. Flip dog. Go. See 1 point. 5 breaths. And notice that when you look at one thing, and then just leave that, you're good. You can let it go. When you look at one thing, you start to feel all the things. Like your upper back warming up, you'll feel the floor through your feet and your bottom hand. Take one more breath. Flip back, high plank, side plank. See a point as an access to feeling all the points of your body. 2 more breaths. Last breath in, lift your hips up a little higher. 2 hands to the floor, low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot to your right thumb, crescent lunge. See 1 point. Good. Pick your arms. So arms can go up. Your arms could be in like a cactus shape. Maybe you're just focusing on your pelvis today and your hands are down. So pick where your hands feel best. Set your eyes to create that drishti. Now breathe. Before you do anything else, take 2 or 3 deep breaths and settle in. Because you're probably going to notice your nervous system's like, fuck, 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 fuck. That's like what mine does. Like my legs, like that. Take a couple sighs. You're good. Maybe you bend your back knee a little bit. You settle in. Now, in the last 2 breaths, really press your feet down. And it doesn't have to be a whole dramatic thing. Press your feet. Take a breath. Reach up. Hands to your heart. Hinge forward. Twist to the right side. Probably a breath or 2 to sigh and settle back into the new shape. Good. Right here, switch sides. So it's your left elbow that goes down. That's it. Yep, you can open your arms if you'd like. Here's your last breath in. Stay for the out. Now keep the lunge. Inhale up to crescent. Drop your back heel down, warrior 2. Set your eyes, 1 point. Take a sigh or 2. And you can adjust your feet. If it's too long or too short, you can adjust. Take 1 more breath in. Extended side angle. Left forearm to your left thigh, or I'm sorry, right forearm to your right thigh, left arm over your left ear. So your bottom fingertips could go to a block or the floor. If you're feeling ready to go a little bit deeper, you could wrap your top arm around and catch the cheek, your left cheek. What's that? Nope, your right cheek. Oh, my lefts and rights. And now take 2 more breaths. With your next inhale, move your shoulders towards your ears a little bit, and then onto your back. Here's your last breath in. 2 hands to the floor, low push-up. Beautiful. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your left foot to your left thumb, crescent lunge. Right, so presence here, like for me, where I lose presence is in the drama of the pose. I'll get in my mind like, oh gosh, this is hard, and I was like snowboarding yesterday, my legs have no gas, and I'm not going to make it, and doesn't the teacher know? And what becomes available is a nice deep sigh, and just get present to what is real about your legs right now. And what's probably real is they're a little warm, maybe they're a little uncomfortable, and you are there breathing and staying, or adapting if you need to adapt it. Take a breath in. Hands to heart, tip, and twist to the left side. 1, 2, 3. Turn your heart up towards your thumbs. 4. Take a breath in. Blow it out. 5. Crescent lunge. Come right back up. Warrior 2. Open up. So the first thing I notice is my front leg feels tired. So a sigh. And I'll press my back leg down more, so I'm evening out the pressure between both feet. Take a breath in, extended side angle. And you might find as you press your back foot down, even in this pose, you can shift some more weight into your back foot. Go a little deeper here. Keep pushing your back foot down. Good. And now you've got this grounding again that creates that lift up through your core and your top arm. 2 more breaths. That lift is what makes things start to feel lighter. Take 1 more breath in. 2 hands to the floor, low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a big breath in, blow all the air out, look forward, then step or float feet to your hands. Lift halfway up and fold. Chair pose. Prayer twist to the right side. Good. Feet on 12 o'clock. So see if you can feel it without looking. Can you feel that your feet are parallel to each other? And now press both heels evenly down. Can you feel the evenness of the weight between your heels? Good. 2 more breaths. If you're in bird, press down through your standing heel and press out through your lifted heel. Take 1 more breath in. Blow it out. Chair pose. We'll meet there with an inhale and fold. Fingers to toes, forward fold. Good. Fold your upper body down over your thighs. Grab your big toes with your first 2 fingers. So really wrap them. Like reach down, grab your big toe and wrap it. Like that. Yep. And what you're not really doing is pulling up on your toes. What you're doing is pressing your knuckles, your finger knuckles down into the mat. You're pressing your heels down into the mat. So there's this added bit of your arms pressing and creating some foundation. As you do that, what you might get is that your shoulders are easier to move up onto your upper back. So plug your shoulders in, plug your thighs into your pelvis. Drop your head all the way down. Take a breath. Clear it out. And then release your toes. Chair pose with the inhale. Sit back, reach high, twist to the left side. And I look across the room. Cat's got her feet super wide. That's great. Some of you have your feet like hip width distance apart. Perfect. Sometimes feet will be like together. That's excellent too. So you create the footprint that fits your body and now create your feet as even. And if you have 1 foot off the floor, the pressure through your feet is even. Take 2 more breaths. Good. Paige, keep pushing through that heel. And that's how your leg will start to straighten. Take 1 more breath. Blow all the air out. Chair pose on the inhale. And fold gorilla pose. Step onto your hands. Feet really wide or feet under your hips. Bend your knees enough that when you drop your head all the way down, what you feel is the hamstring, your hamstring muscle, it's the back of your thigh, right in the center, the belly of the muscle. So seek the truth. Where are you feeling the stretch? If it's in the back of your knees or right up like under your butt cheek, bend your knees more. Be willing to let the pose and your idea of it come apart to have the result be the center of your hamstrings. Be the place that's feeling the most sensation. Take a breath in, blow the air out, and then step off your hands, crow pose at the top of your mat. Hands shoulder width distance apart. Jordan, go a little bit wider. Your shoulders are wider than that. Yeah, and for most of you, like you're going to have like probably a baby finger or maybe even your ring finger off the sides of your mat. Go wide. Cody, go wider. Your shoulders are wider. Dave, that's perfect. Good width. Good. Now you got where you got. Stay for 3 more breaths. 2 more. Just get present, right? Get present. What sensations? What's it feel like? Take 1 more breath in. And then 2 feet to the back of your mat. Low push up. Inhale. Upward facing dog. Roll your shoulders back. Downward facing dog. Press back. Take a breath in. Blow all the air out. Look forward. Step or float your feet to your hands. Lift halfway. And fold down all the way. Now roll up to stand. Take 3 breaths to do it and tap into that action of your feet pressing down and your feet being what stand you up. At the top, reach up, look up. Eagle pose on the right side. Feet together, right leg over, mirror, and right arm under. Yeah. So right thigh is going to wrap up and over top of your bottom thigh. That's it. Now squeeze your two legs together. And as you squeeze, what you'll probably feel is maybe you're squeezing like at the skin level, maybe the muscle level. Can you squeeze so strong that it's bone on bone? Your top thigh bone is pressing down through and reaching the bottom thigh bone. Good. And then step down, reach up, take a fresh breath in, left side eagle pose. So it should be, if your skin tone is fair enough, if I were to look at your legs when you unwrap, you have like squeezed all of the color out of your bottom leg. You are pressing down that strong with your top thigh. So really wrap. Good. Step down, reach up, take a breath. Right side eagle pose, second set. As you squeeze, it's this quality almost like wringing out a rag, where now you've wrung out and you create new circulation in your legs. You're going to need that as we balance one leg at a time. And then step down, left side, eagle pose. Really press your left thigh down on top of your right thigh. So you're sealing up all the light, the air, the space between your two thighs. Take one more breath. And then step down, reach up, catch your hips with your hands, standing leg raise right side. Bend your right knee, catch your right knee, or catch your right big toe and extend your leg. Set your eyes to one point. Yep, and watching a person is probably not going to serve you. So if someone's wobbling around, that's not going to be the most stable of drishti points. And so look at something that's not going to move. Open your leg out to the right, and then flick your eyes over to the left and find a new stable point. And now 2 breaths. You're here, and now just experience the pose. What do you see? What do you feel? What do you smell? Come back to center. Kick your right leg forward, reach up. Airplane pose, kick back. Bring your hands to heart center. Breathe in. Half moon. Left hand towards the floor. Right arm towards the sky. Could hover. You could put a block underneath bottom fingertips. You might be able to reach all the way to the floor. But check in. If reaching the floor means that you're rounding down like a rainbow, put something underneath of you to come up a little bit higher. So like, Dave, go a little higher than that. So maybe just like a little bit of block. Try a little bit here. And then fingertips up on there. So lift your chest up higher and higher. Try fingertips. There. Now you have this space. Get as long as you can now from heel to crown. That's it. Dave and everyone, take one more breath in. And then 2 feet to the floor and fold. Bend your knees. Fold it all the way down. Give the back of your legs a moment to decompress. So your hamstrings are doing a lot of work when you balance. Drop down here for a moment. Bend a lot. Move a little bit. And unload the back side of your body for a breath. And then press down through your feet. Organize your feet. Come rolling up to stand. Reach up. Standing leg raise on the right side, left side. Five breaths, set your gaze. Take your leg out to the left, flick your eyes off to the right. And there's skill here to develop in holding your eyes to a point. You're probably present to the fact that there are people wobbling around you. Can you stay present to that being there and still focused on your point at the same time? Come back to center. Kick your left leg forward, reach up, breathe in, airplane pose. So it's just one breath that you'll be here. Stretch back, kick back, inhale, hands to heart center, half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Right, so seek the truth. Are you rounding down? And how would you know? So you'll probably feel some compression on the right side of your body, where like maybe your right rib cage is running into the top of your right hip. Check on the space on the right side of your body, and if there's not much, lift up higher your chest. So Jordan, go a little bit higher, and maybe your water bottle under your hand will be like the right ticket to get you there. Once you have that space, get as long as you can from heel to head. So how much can you open that space up? Take 2 more breaths. And if you're like, I'm done, can you take a breath? Stay for that one more moment, that one more beat, and then 2 feet to the floor and fold. Bend your knees, straight down, unload. If you're using a strap for dancer pose, grab it. With the inhale, come rolling up to stand. So that roll up opens the whole back line of your body up again. Reach up at the top, open the front line of your body again, and then dancer pose. Bend your right knee, catch your inner ankle. If you're in the strap, strap your right ankle, kick your right shin back, and reach the center of your chest forward. So if you are in standing bow, which means you don't have a strap, put your left hand on your chest, right at the center. So locate the center of your chest. So some of you will notice your chest is turning out to the right. Some of you will notice your chest is dropping down towards the floor. So as you touch your chest, can you turn the center of your chest towards the front of the room and lift your chest up towards the front? So when I do that, there's a whole new wealth of sensation happening in my right shoulder, across my right chest wall. Take a breath in, and then step out. 2 feet to the floor. Take a breath. And then left side. Bend your left knee, catch, kick, and reach your chest forward. Standing bowers. This time put your right hand on your chest. So I've talked about it a little bit. I've sprained my shoulder recently. It's this side. So now as I go to move, I check what is the truth with my shoulder. It's at its edge. So I'm going to move a little bit, and right there, I can feel my shoulders tightening up. So I'll back off a little bit. And so the truth is today, my chest isn't going to square up. But can I let it be what it is for today? It's not wrong, it's not right, my shoulder's not bad or something like that. And just be with the pose as it's showing up today. Take one more breath in and step out. 2 feet at the top of your mat. Catch your breath. Dancer pose on the right side. Bend, catch, and go. Take 5 breaths. Good. Take one more breath in, chest forward, and step down. 2 feet to the floor. Take a breath, ground, and then left side dancer pose. So it would be tempting for me to go right to the same spot that I did on the other side with my shoulder. It'd be very tempting. Like, I figured it out. I'm going to go to this spot. Instead, look again with brand new eyes. So this time, I actually can kick back a little bit more. There's more give. Can I turn my chest? I can turn my chest more forward this time. So look with new eyes to what's possible and be willing to give up what you think you learned the first time around. Take one more breath in and step down. 2 feet at the top of the mat, tree pose, right foot to your left inner thigh. Hands to the center of your heart, right up in the center of it. And then stretch your arms up towards the ceiling. Press down. Hug in the pit of your belly, your front ribs. Stretch all the way up and out through your fingertips. And then step down, change sides. Tree pose, left foot. Remember, you have that tool of a sigh. It's amazing how a sigh feels like it breaks things up. Then reach up. And even here, there might be a sigh. Take one more breath. Reach all the way up. And then step down 2 feet to the top of your mat. At the top, inhale, reach extended mountain pose. Both arms go up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, low push up. So you'll vinyasa through upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot between your hands, triangle pose. So your back foot is flat, and all 5 toes of the back foot point to the left side of your mat. So that means the outer edge of your back foot will be parallel to that back edge of your mat. Your hand on the outside of your front shin. So even like this is perfect, about 6 inches outside. Yep. Now as you press both feet into the floor, press your hand down into the mat or the floor. Yeah, and then work to straighten your front leg. As you press your front foot down, your right hip moves back. That's it. Keep your back leg straight. Perfect. And now stretch your top arm all the way up. So you have these 3 roots, 2 feet, 1 hand down grounded into the floor. And from those 3 roots pressing down, how high can you grow your top arm up? Take 2 more breaths. Last breath in. Blow all the air out. Press your feet down more. Stand all the way up. Turn all 10 toes to face the left long side of your mat. And then fold down between your feet. Side facing, wide-legged forward fold. Keep your hands on your hips as you come down. Yeah, feet parallel. So sometimes what we'll do is kind of drop our hands and then real quick shift weight into our hands and unload our legs. And what's possible here as you keep your hands on your hips is discover how to be in your legs in a way that is not always hard. So how can you ground in a way that feels as natural as gravity? And for me, it's bending my knees more. Like really be willing to bend your knees enough that not only can you stay, but you actually feel your feet press more into the floor. And then your whole upper body pour. This quality of pouring your spine out from the center of your pelvis. You're pouring your head and your neck out from the space between your shoulders. Some of you are like really working your shoulders onto your back. Can you let that go enough that you've got this quality of your upper body relaxing down and out of the bowl of your pelvis? Yeah, and now 2 more breaths right there. So it took something to create what you have. Can you be present to it? Good. If your feet are up, start to bring your feet down. If your hands are already on your waist, keep them there. Press your feet down more. And on the inhale, stand all the way up. Turn to the front of your mat. Set up for reverse namaste front facing forward fold. So this is like a short warrior 1 stance. Pause before you go. So your feet, everyone's feet look good, but go wider. So you want your feet hip width distance apart like you're on the 2 sides of a highway line. Go longer and wider, Jordan. Yep. Now square your hips. So your 2 hip points point straight forward. From that, fold. And as you fold, watch for your right hip point to touch your thigh, the bottom of your belly to touch your thigh, your ribs to touch your thigh. And if at any of those points something skips, like your belly doesn't touch or your ribs don't touch, stop right where you're at and focus on getting long. So you'll press your cheeks back and lengthen the top of your head forward. Good. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath in. Drop your hands. Keep your chest right where it's at. If your hands don't touch the floor, you need a block. or a water bottle. Stick it under your left hand. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Now re-lengthen your spine. Press your cheeks back. Press the top of your head forward. With your hand on your hip right here, turn your chest towards the right side of the room. If it helps to put your right hand on your heart so you can feel it, put it on your heart and feel how you're turning and where your chest is landing. Take 2 more breaths. With every exhale, get present. Can you twist a little bit more? Play with it. And then 2 hands to the floor, step back, downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Blow all the air out. Step your left foot between your hands. Triangle pose. Right? So immediate thought might be, here we go again. But no. Completely new side. Completely new practice. Completely new opportunity. You've never been in this body this way on this day with this combination of food and drink and weather. And so get present with completely new eyes to what's possible as you press your feet down, both of them. As you press your bottom hand down and you grow your top arm up as high as you possibly can. Now 2 more breaths. You can even use your breaths to create and open up that space more. Last breath in. Blow all the air out. Stand up. 10 toes face the right long side of your mat. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Draw your knuckles down, your chest up, and then fold. Chest leads the way as you come down towards the mat. So put in what you discovered about your legs. That's probably bending your knees a bit so you get full contact with your feet. Relax your upper body and your head as much as you can. Now, can you wrap your shoulders onto your back and allow your bind to relax towards the floor behind your head? And if as you go there is a quality of force about your shoulders, can you just see that that's so and let that force come apart? With each exhale, can you bring more ease to the quality and your way of being in your shoulders, the way you're approaching your shoulders? Take 1 more breath. With the exhale, bring your hands back to your low back, catch your waist, stand all the way up, turn to the front, reverse namaste, front facing forward fold. Set your feet. So you create that strong foundation, square your hips, add the bind if you're taking it, and then fold. And get present. Left hip point to thigh. Left belly wall to thigh. Then left rib cage to thigh. And any point where you're not touching the next part of your torso, you pause. Draw your chin in towards the center of your throat, lengthen the back of your neck, and then lengthen from your tail to your crown. Take a breath in. Lower your hands towards the floor. If they don't touch, a block onto your right hand, left hand to your left hip. Press your cheeks back, your crown forward, get as long as you can. So until you're long, you won't have access to a twist. So step 1 is get long. Now exhale, turn your chest to the left. Once you kind of stop or get stuck, inhale, get long again, create new space, and then exhale, see if you can twist again. 2 more times, get long. Exhale, twist. Last time, get long. Exhale, twist, wrap in. 2 hands to the floor, step back, downward facing dog. I was told by one of my teachers, a good twist, you'll taste your breakfast. A great twist, you'll taste last night's dinner. So it's like that. It's kind of gross, right? All right. From your down dog, come out to high plank position, and lower it all the way down to the floor. At the floor, reach your arms back and set up for locust pose. So stretch your arms back, stretch your toes back, lift your chest forward and up. This is another one of those like taste your breakfast kind of poses because you're leaning your belly into the floor. And that doesn't mean that you're pushing your belly into the floor. You're allowing the floor to guide your ribs and your belly in towards the center of your body. Take a breath in and lower it all the way down to the floor. So totally relax, totally. And maybe that's forehead to the floor. Maybe it's turning an ear to the floor if that feels more relaxing for you. Now, second set, center your forehead and pause. In the pause, your belly is already in. Keep that part of your body in. With the inhale, stretch your chest forward until your ribs start to push out or your belly starts to push out. That's where you stop. Then to get longer, stretch your toes back. Get as long as you can from your toes to your heart. That's it. So you don't have to go higher. Don't have to get deeper. Focus on getting longer. Take a breath in and lower it all the way down to the floor. Relax. Big breath in, big breath out. And then we'll add on bow pose. Bend your knees. Reach back, catch the top of your ankles. Gather your knees into hip width. Pause. Let your belly and your ribs settle up into your body. Now keep your head where they're at. Kick your shins back. Before your head lifts, let your shoulders go back. So take a couple exhales and kick, moving your shoulders onto the back side of your body. Once they're all the way back, kick more to lift your chest up. So your chest hangs. Your shoulders, they relax and drop back. Breathe into the space across your chest. Really good. Last breath in and lower all the way down to the floor. Bend your knees, windshield up your legs side to side. And we're going to do it one more time. Floor ball. Bend your knees. Catch the top of your ankles. The temptation is to crank your back and lift your chest using your back. Instead, use your legs. So you are kicking back, shoulders back first. And that might take a breath or two for that to happen. Then kick more for your chest to go up. And then if you're hearing like, I got more to go, kick your feet up towards the ceiling. Take 2 more breaths. One more breath in and lower it all the way down to the floor. Beautiful. Windshield wipe your legs side to side one time. Now with the inhale, press your hands beside your lowest rib on either side. Press down and back. Peel your chest up in that same way. So you're driving your hands down and back. Drive your toenails down into the floor. Take a big breath in. Downward facing dog with a long spine. Press back. Take a breath. Clear it out. Drop to your knees, camel pose. Come on, standing on your knees, hands to your bum. Before you go anywhere, pause. Get present. I find if I'm like, get this shit done, if that's like my mindset, I fall back like right into my lower back area. So get set up and lift up. If nothing else happens, get as long as you can from your hips up through your crown. And then let your shoulders fall back towards your upper back. So an exhale or two, let your shoulders relax. Then as you keep pressing your chest up, that's where the back bend comes in. Good. Deepen your breath. 2 more. 1 more breath in. Stay for the out. Press down through your shins. Lift your chest up and out. Downward facing dog. Press back. So it's pretty common to feel like a little dizzy, a little nauseous. You are stretching the deep viscera at the center around your stomach and your intestines. So take a couple breaths, settle. Take 1 more breath. And then 1 more sit camel. Drop to your knees. Set it up. Knowing that you don't have to go any further than where you're at today. You go to your edge, whatever that is. And so maybe it's just getting really tall for your spine. Maybe you are starting to go back and your hands are on your butt. Maybe you are starting to go back and you have access to your heels. Be present that you're still in an area of space. You're taking sighs as you need them. Here's your last breath in. Blow all the air out. Lift your chest up and out. Downward facing dog, press back. Take 2 big breaths. I suggest some sighs. This is usually a point where it feels pretty good to make some sound. Yeah. Good. And then look at the top of your mat. Bend your knees, crouch down low, and jump to a seat or step to a seat. Lie onto your back, bridge pose. You're like all the way down. Bend your knees, plant your feet. Take your feet hip width or wider, and then press down through your feet, lift your hips up, bridge. So we really are learning and discovering the power of your legs as your access to healthy back bends. Plug it in here. And what I like to envision in this pose is I envision there's someone is standing on my thighs. So if someone were standing on your thighs and you had to push your feet down and your thighs up to counter them, bring that quality to the way you are in the pose. Right. See if you can let your butt relax a little bit. Can you let your back muscles relax a little bit? That it's really feet down, thighs up. Take one more breath in, and then lower all the way down to the floor. Get a breath. Clear it out. Bridge pose. Come right back up to it. You can stay here or take it up to wheel pose. Plant your hands flat and wide outside your shoulders. Jordan, go wider, even wider than that. Same kind of crow hands. Yep. And then press up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Tuck your chin, come down. Take a breath in. Blow the air out. We got 4 more. Bridge or wheel, your choice. Press up. 5, 4, 3. Now check in. Are you present? 2 and 1. Tuck your chin, come down. Breath in, breath out. Set up. 3 to go. Bridge or wheel, go for it. So when I first started doing these, what I was present to was just internal screaming. I was like, whoa, like up in the middle of the pose. And maybe that's all there is to be present to. So just can you be present to that? Take a breath. Tuck your chin, come all the way down. Get a breath in. Blow it out. 2 to go. Set up and press up. And maybe on this one, maybe there is screaming in there, but maybe you can also hear your breath a little bit. 3 more breaths. Can you hear and feel your breath? 2 more. 1 more breath in. Tuck your chin, come down. Breath on the floor. There's 1 more to go. Set your hands, set your feet, bridge your wheel, and come up. And 5 breaths. So maybe you can hear your breath. What more can you get present to? Can you feel your breath? Can you feel your hands and feet on the floor? You are starting to press out your ability to perceive, even when you're challenged. Take 1 more breath in and come all the way down, Supta Baddha Konasana. Stay present. Keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open and just see what it is that you're looking at. You don't even have to name it. You don't have to ponder it. If you're looking at something on the ceiling, just see it. And then what is there to feel? Can you just feel it? And then bring your knees together to touch. Hug your knees up towards your chest. Dead bug pose. So you open your knees up wide. Catch your feet or the back of your thighs. Hug down your feet or thighs towards the floor. And create as much length along the back of your body as you can. So as much contact between your spine, the back of your body, and the mat as you can get. And then eyes are set and open. Feel what there is to feel. Okay, release your feet. Stretch your legs up towards the ceiling and sit on your hands. Take 2 to 3 breaths to settle your front ribs and the pit of your belly down towards your spine. What helps me sometimes is sticking a block under my head helps me get my front ribs down. My ribs tend to pop out a lot. So something that you might try. And once you have that, take a breath in, slowly lower your right foot, and stop the moment that your ribs or your belly would pop back up. So you're really investigating what is that point where everything wants to pop back up. Take a breath in, and then slowly switch your legs. So feel the moment just before your core would disengage. Take a breath in and switch. Take a breath in and switch. So you're going to go 30 seconds side to side. One of the keys here, especially for your breathing, is can you breathe more through the sides of your ribs? So if you tend to push your ribs out when you breathe, can you do more of like a horizontal breathing? Good. 15 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now both legs up towards the ceiling. Take a breath in and lower your legs a third away down to that hover point. Stay there and breathe. So front ribs in, belly in, breathe through the sides of your ribs. Good. Take another breath in. Lower your legs just a little bit more. So now if your ribs pop up, go back to that first point. If your ribs and your core are still in, take a breath in. Can you lower a little bit more? So get right to the edge before you would push out and hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Both legs up to the ceiling. Hug your knees down into your chest. Yeah, circle your knees side to side. Yeah, so it's not that weird that when you're really stabilizing your core, it works your low back a lot. Like your low back muscles are going to be working too. Circle a little bit and give some new circulation there. And then catch the back of your thighs. Rock and roll forward and back. How about 5 times? And use this for kind of the same thing. Like you're getting a good massage up and down your spine. See if you can get each vertebra to touch as you roll. And on the 5th one, boat pose. Good. Catch the back of your thighs just for some support and let your thighs relax down into the back of your pelvis. So especially if your hip flexors feel really like grippy, let your legs relax a little bit. Settle your thighs in. Let some of that grip go. Now, if you can, see if you can let go. You might be able to let go without the grip. And if you don't have the grip, you're still feeling pretty good, now start to stretch your legs out. So your toes stretch forward and your thighs pull back and down with your hips being relaxed. For 5, and maybe the truth is that's just not it today. 4, so if there's gripping, can you give up that it has to look a certain way and go where you're served by the pose? 3, 2, and 1. Cross your shins, plant your hands, downward facing dog, press it back. I spent 5 years excruciating in boat with just my hip flexors crying the whole time. And it was only like at year 6 that I was like, I've had enough, but I actually started holding my legs and I learned how do I integrate and not just rely on my hip flexors. I actually focus on my deep core muscles. You can get past that, but you've got to just kind of get honest that I'm working from this rather than that. Half pigeon on the right side. Half pigeon on the right side. Yep, bring your right knee up behind your right wrist, and then you'll fold right down over top of your thigh. And you're just looking for a space that feels interesting. As you tune into what you're feeling, that there's something to feel, there's something interesting. So if there's not much going on, you can bring your right foot closer to the left top corner of your mat. So your shin is closer to being parallel. Will give you more sensation. If there's a lot of sensation going on, and I usually know because my belly is gripping, my teeth are gnashing, my hands are fisting, like if it's like that, you can bring your foot closer towards your groin, the front foot. You can also take your right knee out to the right more. And that's going to give you a little bit more space. So once you find that good working spot for your body today, open your eyes. Look at what you can see. And right now it might seem like what you're looking at is not very interesting. The cool part about presence is that you don't have to get present to something that's interesting for presence to transform your life. Can you just see what you see and feel what you feel, as little or as much as it is? Can you hear what you're hearing? Like maybe you don't like the tone of my voice, or you wish I'd stop talking. So can you just, if that's the case, or if it's not the case, can you just be present that talking is happening? And then take one more breath right here. And then press back, downward facing dog, switch sides. Double pigeon, not double pigeon, half pigeon on the left side. And that process will start all over again. Of take the pose, get present. And really, each one of you, you know what present is. You know when you're present and you know when you're not. And as I offer kind of like what it looks and feels like to me, get more interested in what does presence look and feel like to you. How do you know you're present when you're present? What is happening? What is the qualitative difference between you not present and you present? And take one more breath. And then press down through your hands. Downward facing dog, go back. And it could feel good. Bring your feet together. Stretch your right leg up and back. Bend your knee, open your hip. You can roll your hip around, your ankle around. Maybe you go all the way over into flip dog again. Maybe you go all the way over into wheel again. Sometimes that's there, sometimes it's not. And then come back, right foot down, left leg up, bend your knee, open your hip. And as you get present to your own body, look and listen and feel for what's possible. What would create new stretch, new vitality, new space? And then 2 feet to the floor. From there, drop to your knees. We're going to take something called half frog. So most of you know what frog is at this point. We're going to take half frog. So half frog will look like this. Watch me first and then do it, just because it's pretty simple, but there are some elements to it. You're going to start lying down on your stomach. So rather than starting from all fours, you start down here. You have 2 options. You can either rest your head on your hands on the floor, or you can turn your head to the side. And I'll tell you which side works once we get there. Once you're on the floor, you're going to bend your right leg up into that frog position, but just the right leg. So knee and hip are in line, knee and ankle are in line, and that foot is flexed. So you're here. Since we're on the right side, if you choose to turn your head, you're going to turn it to the left side. Okay? So that's it. Lie on your tum. That's what I say to my kids. Lie on your stomach. Like, tum, what the hell is that? And then decide if you're going to rest your head on your hands or if you're going to turn your head over to the left side. You pick. And now bend your right knee up. Take your right shin out to the right enough that your right shin is parallel to the right side of your mat. And now before you really settle in, feel your right hip flexor. So if your right hip flexor, it's like the hip, the crease, if that feels tight or grippy, move your right thigh further back towards the back of your mat. So you want to have your leg back enough that your hip flexor is not gripping at all. If you do that, when you come out of this, your hip flexors are going to feel really tight. So really feel, is there any gripping in your right hip flexor? And if there is, take your right thigh towards the back of your mat more. Good. Once you have that sorted, tuck your back toes into the mat, so it's your left toes, and walk your left foot as far back as you can get it to go. So really stretch your left leg back. So see if you can organize as much space to the front of your left hip flexor, the left side of your low back, your left belly. Get as much room as you can, and then you can untuck that toe if that feels better. And now just breathe. And maybe there's a lot going on. Maybe there's not a lot going on. Can you breathe with and just be present to whatever there is to be present to? Okay, take one more breath. And then gently, you'll straighten your right leg towards the back. Take a moment to stretch both arms forward, stretch both legs back, kind of iron everything back out. And then reset your hands either under your head or maybe teed out. Your head's going to turn to the right side this time. And bend your left knee up. Kind of like feel out the position you start in. So if your left hip flexor feels tight or grippy, take your left thigh towards the back of your mat a little bit more. Yep. And then tuck your right toe. I see Laura's already going there. Tuck your right toes and wiggle your right foot as far back as you can get it to go. And then untuck your toes. The very first time I did a 4-day program, one of the things I discovered was that when it came to presence, I relied on things being very hard in order to be present. That if something wasn't sensational enough, it wasn't hard enough, it wasn't, I call it lighting fires. Like if it wasn't a fire, then I just would tune out. And I realized pretty quickly that I lit a lot of fires in my life just to kind of stay present and awake. So what started to become interesting to me were these instances where there wasn't a fire. It wasn't hard. There wasn't a lot of information. I wasn't particularly interested. And tuning into all the subtleties that are still present, even in those moments. Like the subtlety of maybe your feet just tingling a little bit right now. Or is there just a sense of warmth in some part of your body? Or that you can feel the floor is touching your head or your face in a way, but not your whole face is touching, maybe just your cheekbone. And so there's so much in the grand and the subtle to become present to that it's really it's an endless investigation. And what I got out of that is life became endlessly interesting. It didn't require setting things on fire. I didn't literally do that, but just want to make sure that you know. Take one more breath. And then gently you'll stretch your left leg towards the back of the mat. Stretch both arms up, stretch both legs back, get a full body stretch in. Good. And then bend your elbows, plant your hands beside your ribs, press up to all fours. You'll come up to a seat. You can cross your shins, sit back. Seated single leg extension, right leg straight, left foot in. Sit up tall with both of your arms and then fold over your front thigh. So you can catch one foot or one hand, you can catch two hands. For most of us, bend your knees. So especially if you can feel that your chest is kind of folding in towards your stomach, stay tall, bend your knee more, and then with a tall spine, that's it. You come down towards your foot. And it might be like, is this your strap? It's a little wet, but you're going to be all right. There, you're going to add a strap in. And now get as long as you can. So you're going to round a little bit. That's natural. Your spine will round a little bit. But can you stay long as your spine rounds forward? Yeah, and you'll just feel like, okay, what does that mean? And you just discover, get present in your body, what that means in your body. And then sit all the way up and change sides. This becomes the freedom from teachers. A teacher can only give you the pointers. Like, can only tell you, like, try this. I tried that. It worked this way for me. But then you getting present to your own body and feeling like, okay, this is too straight. How do I know? Because, like, my back is doing a thing I don't like. This is too rounded because my ribs are pushing in on my stomach or something. And then this feels just right. Blow all the air out. And then sit up. Stretch both legs forward. Seated forward fold. a big breath into the back of your ribs. Open your mouth, settle in all the way, down and in. And then sit all the way up, reverse table. Plant your hands, plant your feet, lift your hips. Press your sternum, the center of your heart, way up towards the ceiling. Breathe in. Open your mouth, blow it out. And then sit down, fish pose. Stretch your legs forward. Drop back onto your forearms. Option to put a medium height block underneath your shoulder blades. And if you choose to go without the block, the trick to getting to the floor is stretch your head and shoulders back behind your elbows. So Cody, keep going back this way. So your arms will stay, that's it. Now press your forearms down, stretch your toes forward, and reach your chest center to the back of the room. Check in on the quality of your throat and see if you can soften a little bit more. Check in, are your eyes closed? Can you open your eyes back up? And sometimes it's because we're looking at someone now. So can you look? Maybe you're looking at a foot or something. Can you see what you see? And just see what you see. Breath in. Maybe a sigh out. And then if you're on a block, grab your head with your hand. Support your head as you roll to the side. No block, you can tuck your chin and lie down and set up for an inversion. So if it's shoulder stand, plow first. Feet go over your head towards the floor behind you. And you use the plow to wedge your shoulders under you as deep as you can. If you're taking headstand, you can do that from the back of your mat. If you're doing handstand, you can do that from the front of your mat. And now open your eyes. So shoulder stand, that's not a necessity. But in a headstand or handstand, it is. Open your eyes. Deep, deep breaths. Okay, take 5 more breaths. After your 5th breath, if you are in shoulder stand, come to plow. If you're in headstand, option to bend your knees down towards your chest and hover. So you can, hover both knees right there. Continue to press down through your forearms and reach up through your sitting bones. And then from plow, bend your knees to your ears, Deaf Yogi. Headstands come down to child's pose. Whichever shape you're in, allow your spine to round. So can you create a C shape with your spine? In Deaf Yogi, gravity is going to really help you with that. If you kind of let yourself go floppy. Child's pose, bringing your knees together usually helps. You round your spine a little bit more. Good. And then from Deaf Yogi, stretch your arms down the mat. Roll yourself down 1 vertebra at a time until you're lying on your back. Child's pose, you'll meet us up there. And once you're lying, hug your knees into your chest. Tee your arms and drop your knees to the right. Look off to the left side. And gather your knees back up through center. Drop your knees to the left, your eyes to the right. Not a whole lot of like alignment here. Just kind of let it be what it is. Seek the truth, like just this is how your spine is moving now at the end of a practice. And be willing to come apart, meaning like be willing to let the story unravel, the story of you, the story of other people around you. Be willing to let the story fall apart. So you can really get to what's true. And then come back to center. Hug your knees into your nose into your knees. Give your whole self, your whole body a great big deep squeeze one last time. And then stretch your legs out, Shavasana. There's a cool eye towel in the upper right-hand corner of your mat if you're in studio. And this is that moment where there's not going to be a lot going on. You don't have to stay still. So, of course, if you have to move or something like that, you're welcome to do it. But the invitation is that you give yourself the opportunity to be as still as possible. And there's very likely not going to be as much information, as much sensation as there would be in a pose. It's not going to be as interesting as your phone or your TV. But can you be still and as a skill get interested? In whatever you can feel, in whatever you can hear, in whatever you can see, even with your eyes closed, if they're closed. And rest in that. Good. Then make your next 3 breaths incrementally deeper. And you can start to wiggle your fingers or wiggle your toes as your breaths build back up. And after that last breath, draw your knees up into your chest and roll over to a side, all the way over. So turn your chest all the way down. So you can turn your stomach down towards the floor. So you're totally dropped in, totally supported. And as you're ready, press yourself up to a seated position. Bring your hands together over the center of your heart. And take a moment to give yourself credit, give yourself gratitude for doing something that is so good for your heart, your body, your mind. and maybe a wish that whatever presence you cultivated here today, that it stays with you throughout the day, throughout the week, even. And so we'll set that and close with 3 final ohms. Take a breath in. Bring your thumb knuckles up to the center of your forehead. Thank you all for being here. And until next time, take a breath in, blow it out, and together we say namaste. Namaste. Great job this morning, everybody. Awesome. So if you're like feeling good, but maybe a little like coiled up, you wish the Shavasana was just that little bit longer, hang around. We have restorative right after this class. So it's an hour with Debbie. You get to lay on pillows with blankets and bolsters and stuff like that and really totally unwind. It's a great way to start your week. So you can do that. If you are planning to stay for restorative, please take your mat out just so I can hit the floor, clean things up, and then you can come back in after that. You're welcome. Hey, Debbie. I'm good.